stalwart of reporting, breaking news. Trade war is back, 100% tariff on China, and the stock market was apparently taking a hit earlier while we were having this conversation. It has just been learned that China has taken an extraordinarily aggressive position in trade, sending an extremely hostile letter to the world. This is about Chinese control over rare minerals, for the record. China recently implemented a new protocol, a new mechanism of control over the rare earth minerals that they play a role in the extraction. Trump is live for an announcement. Let's take a look.
Drugs, one of the great companies, by the way, and a most favored nations pricing clause. So most favored nation is you're going to pay whatever the lowest price anywhere in the world is. That's what you're going to be paying. And I had it going very well in my first term, but we were interrupted by a rigged election, so I was unable to carry it forward. We started it, but this was something one of the reasons I wanted to run again was we had to have favored nations where the world is not going to be paying just a fraction, just a tiny fraction of what we were paying. I want to thank CEO Pascal Soriot, a very highly respected, one of the most respected men in business and certainly in the industry, for joining us today, as well as Secretary Howard Lutnick, Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., CMS Administrator Mehmet Oz, FDA Commissioner Marty McCary, and Virginia Governor, a man who's done an incredible job, and good luck with the upcoming election. Please. I know you're working very hard. I watch you. You're right there. He's out there working. He wants to see that young woman win, and the Attorney General, who I endorsed, et cetera, et cetera. Glenn Youngkin. Thank you very much, Glenn. Thank you for being here. For many years, Americans have paid the highest prices anywhere in the world for prescription drugs by far, many times the amount that other countries are paying is ridiculous. Upon taking office, I signed an executive order to make sure that Americans pay no more for prescription medications than the lowest price for the same drug in other locations in developing nations. Today, AstraZeneca is committing to offer all of their prescription medications to Medicaid at most favored nations prices. In other words, the lowest price anywhere in the world, that's what we get. A move that will save American taxpayers hundreds of millions of dollars.
What the fuck's going on with the audio?
And I tell the story, Glenn, that in my first term, I had the honor of being the first president in 28 years to lower drug prices during the course of the year. And we actually did, and I was so proud of myself. We called a news conference. I announced it. It was 1/8 of 1%. 1/8 of 1%. Now drug prices are going to be going down 100%, 400%, 600%, 1,000% in some cases. But for 1/8 of a cent, Bobby, think of that. I was so proud because for 28 years, nobody had done it. And now it's, I think back to that, I said I shouldn't have had that news conference. But it is true. I was the only one that did it, but it was not very much. And now we're going to get, in some cases, 1,000% reduction. This is going to have a huge impact on everything from Social Security to Medicare to Medicaid, anything where they're buying any prescription drugs. It's going to have an incredible impact. It's going to lower itself greatly. AstraZeneca will also list many of their most popular drugs online at TrumpRx.gov. TrumpRx. I don't know why they put the name Trump. I did not tell them to do it, but I'm honored to let them do it. That's true, actually. That heavily reduced most favored nations cost. Americans can expect discounts, and as I said, it could be in many cases way over 100%.
This is him trying to offer some semblance of treats. Not even treats, but like this is him trying to offer a little bit of like material improvement to his base right now. And he wouldn't be doing this if he didn't recognize that he's hemorrhaging support.
They're going to be averaging about 600.
Okay, that's what it is. Remember when I talked about like he ran
the Democrats say, well, he should have gotten
and
more.
I guess seemingly made a convincing case that he would be better for prices and the cost of living crisis that people are facing, people are experiencing,
will also be so.
only to not do that at all
will invest $50 billion
and to focus on, you know, barring trans athletes or just a whole bunch of different things like that. That don't actually improve people's living conditions at all. This is his opportunity to try and
where the governor attended, they had
try and fix at least one aspect of this.
To begin with, and that's going to be a fantastic plant. I saw a picture. It's going to be the best, right? It's you can't get any better. This is a tremendous victory for Virginia and for American patients and for everything, for the country. It's an amazing company to have coming over to the United States in such a big way. That's going to be a big part of the company. Presidents have promised for years to lower the cost of health care, but my administration is actually the first to do it and do it substantially, do it at numbers that nobody thought, even I thought were not possible. When you think of it, if you got a 1%, 2%, 5%, that's good. You did a good job. We're talking about 100, 200, 300, 500, 700. In some cases, some big numbers. And the largest drug companies in the world are working with us to make this a reality. And so I look forward to being at your opening of that incredible facility. I hear something, and it's in a great location, Len, right? One of the beautiful locations. So I'd now like to ask Secretary Kennedy to say a few words, followed by Dr. Oz, Pascal, Governor Youngkin, and we'll take some questions afterwards. Would anybody like to have some questions? Yes? Oh, I'm shocked. Okay, we'll take them right after, okay? Bobby, please.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Oh, my God.
I talked about this a little yesterday in the cabinet meeting.
We are going to make it so that it's illegal to get circumcised.
This historical achievement is really monumental. When I was in my confirmation process, virtually every Democratic senator showed me their preoccupation with making sure that we completed, that I was going to continue to get a commitment from me to continue the IRA drug price negotiations. That the IRA required the Democrats, while President Biden was in the first year of the IRA, to negotiate 10 drug prices down. And then I was supposed to, my first year, negotiate 15 and 15 every year thereafter, and that was their plan. The Democrats claimed that they had a 22% reduction, and that was a great success. When we actually looked at that, when I came into the agency, we realized we were actually paying more for 8 of the 10 drugs. The 22% reduction was off of list price, and Medicare ended up paying more for 8 of the drugs, equal for the 9th, and about a 2% discount.
I'm going to be honest, dude. I think they should never let RFK Jr. do speeches. Like, people are going to say I'm being ableist, but like, he has like, it's not like Kash Patel. Like, Kash Patel creates an environment of uncertainty whenever he speaks. But like, whenever RFK speaks, I just think of pestilence. I think of disease. It's just so difficult to understand what he's saying. Like, the vibes are horrendous either way. I just think of utter decay. When Stephen Miller speaks, I think this guy is so nerdy. Oh my God, what a unfuckable loser he is. Every administration figurehead has their own unique, unlistenable quality. Donald Trump to impose 100% additional tariffs on Chinese goods. It has just been learned that China has taken an extraordinarily aggressive position on trade in sending an extremely hostile letter to the world, stating that they were going to, effective November 1st, impose large-scale export controls on virtually every product they make, and some not even made by them. This affects all countries without exception and was obviously a plan devised by them years ago. It is absolutely unheard of in international trade and a moral disgrace in dealing with other nations. This is because China has damn near monopoly over the extraction, but not necessarily just the extraction, but like the development of rare earth minerals. Okay. And that is the reason why Donald Trump is losing his mind. Oh my God, that's such a funny fucking photo for this article. That is such a funny photo of this article. China tightens export controls on rare earth metals. Why this matters. Move is a strategic one ahead of a new round of tricky trade talks with the United States. So they basically floated this when Donald Trump first came out with the big, beautiful tariff negotiations. This is not Bitcoin, Ethereum, or even a shitcoin. It's the S&P 500. And I don't know if China would have done this, but yeah, China controls around 70% of rare earth mineral extractions and around 90% of processing. It is as close to a monopoly as you can get. It is unimaginable. Okay? The amount of power they have, especially considering that the stuff that you need for everything, okay? This is shit that you need to build anything, okay? Anything. Like your phone or any number of different like defense industry tools, okay? Everything. Because in the words of an incredibly brilliant man, everything's computer, everything's Tesla, everybody transgender. And China has basically said, yeah, everything is computer, as a matter of fact. You're not wrong. And it turns out we hold all the fucking cards. The new restrictions were announced by the Chinese Ministry of Commerce and come ahead of an expected meeting between Chinese President Xi Jinping and United States President Donald Trump later this month. The world's two largest economies have been locked in trade negotiations aimed at calming tensions after they raised tit-for-tat tariffs against each other earlier this year, before then agreeing to pull back on some of those levies. Rare earth metals are one of China's major levers of influence with the United States. What has China announced? In announcement number 61 of 2025, China said it was increasing export controls for 5 rare earth metals in addition to 7 it announced in April this year. Okay, the 5 metals added to the list are holmium, erbium, thulium, europium, and ytterbium. The 7 minerals China placed export restrictions on earlier this year are samarium, gadolinium, terbium, dysprosium, dysprosium. God damn it. Fucking hard as hell to read. Lutetium, scandium, and yttrium. These are 17 rare earth metals in total, and the 15 lanthanides, metallic elements on the periodic table, scandium and yttrium. Oh my God, I'm done reading this. Okay, China has now export restrictions on 12 of them. In addition, on Thursday, China also placed restrictions on the export of specialist technological equipment used to refine rare earth metals. Most of those restrictions will go into effect December 1st. Now, it is pretty funny when Donald Trump will be like, how dare China impose any sort of restrictions on these fucking metals, when for the entirety of our trade partnership with China, we have always enforced not just like direct restrictions from, I don't know, whatever kind of like defense goods or anything that we build that somehow makes its way back to China, but we have made other countries that are under the control of the American security apparatus, we have stopped them from trading certain goods, certain key pieces of technology to China. You know, just something to consider. Anyway, to obtain the license, foreign companies must explain the intended use of the product they wish to use the Chinese rare earth metals to make. Now, of course, the saving grace here is China's endless need for trade maxing. The thing about rare earth metals is that they aren't actually rare at all. They're just hard to process. So we've just been coasting off of China without building the tech ourselves for years. Yeah. They're raw earth, not rare. So this in and of itself is certainly a major national security concern for the United States of America, That is, of course, if China doesn't trade max here and decides to shut off the faucet of rare earth metals that are necessary for American defense, for example. It's just very funny for America to be like, how dare they do this to us? Yeah, it's just a point of leverage. Do I believe that China would actually stop the flow of commerce in any meaningful capacity? Do I believe that China will stop its endless need for trade maxing? No, I do not. I think this is just a way to tell America, like, this is the kind of power that we do have over international trade and international affairs in general, and therefore you should treat us as an equal partner in this endeavor rather than consistently trying to blow up your design of global trade. Your design. Remember, China cited national security interests as the reason for these new restrictions. Rare earth related items have dual use properties for both. Oh my God, this is so American coded in terms of the language being used here. Dual use properties for both civilian and military applications. Implementing export controls on them is an international practice, a Chinese Ministry of Commerce spokesperson told reporters on Thursday. The spokesperson added that certain foreign organizations and individuals have been directly transferring or processing and then transferring controlled rare earth materials originating from China to relevant organizations and individuals directly or indirectly for military and other sensitive applications. Oh, he's taking questions now, including the China question. Let's take a look.
Now, I'm not sure that Pascal would like to say, but behind the scenes he did say tariffs were a big reason he came here, and also the fact he loved Virginia. He liked this guy. He liked me. I think the November 5th election was a very important date. We had a good election, and that was important. But yeah, he's here. A lot of. I can speak for almost everybody that's here.
There's a real possibility this backfires on China and encourages other countries to invest a lot more in their own processing, just like how trade restrictions inadvertently led China to building its own supply chains before it relied on the West. China may ironically be giving up its leverage if they go through with this. Yeah, that's precisely the reason why I don't think they will go through with this. It's just a point of leverage in the American negotiations because America would not be able to withstand any sort of significant limitation to continuing to get rare earth metals from China. That's it. There's 0% chance, I think, that they would just give up on this monopoly power that they have. I'm even surprised that they would flex this hard.
Where did that come from?
But I suspect that this probably also comes with additional assurances to Western allies of America and not the United States of America that they will continue to do trade in the same exact ways. And this is more so a strategic posture against the United States of America because America is uniquely vulnerable as a direct consequence of its endless greed in the way that it actually designed global trade that was incredibly beneficial for the 80s and 90s boom.
But all of the countries were great. Indonesia was great. Jordan was great. They were all great. Everybody wants this deal to happen.
What happens in Gaza the day after the hostage release?
Day after what?
The day after the hostage release, what happens there then?
Well, hopefully you're going to have great success I call it everlasting success. I think you will too. I think you're going to have tremendous success, and Gaza is going to be rebuilt. And you have some very wealthy countries, as you know, over there. And it would take a small fraction of
Norway have
their,
proven to possibly insider trading on Poly Market ahead of today's Nobel Prize announcement.
And I think they want to do it. And we're also setting up, as you know, a board of peace. It's called the Board of Peace.
God, we live in such unprecedentedly stupid times.
The word peace is definitely in there. And they have asked me if I chair it. We'll make sure things go well.
And how confident are you that the ceasefire will hold?
I think it'll hold, yeah. I think it'll hold. They're all tired of the fighting. Don't forget, you had October 7th, which was a horrible day, 1,200 people killed. But Hamas has lost 58,000 people. That's big retribution. That's big retribution. People understand that. So,
yeah, Hamas.
No, I think they're all tired of fighting.
Just saying a quiet part out loud. He's like, every Palestinian is Hamas. Is true.
This is beyond Gaza. Gaza is very important, but this is beyond Gaza. This is peace in the Middle East, and it is a beautiful thing. You know, it's a term that you and I have been hearing since we were very young, right? And now we have a chance of really having that. And as you know, most of the countries have passed all these resolutions. Every country is there. Iran came in. I was very happy to see that. I was very honored that Iran came in. They said they support it. Russia came in. President Putin, he supports it fully, very fully. So I was happy to see even countries that weren't necessarily involved in the process, they all support it. I don't know of anybody that doesn't. And I've never seen happier people than many of these places, not just Israel. Many of these places, they're all dancing in the streets. I've never seen anything like it.
Mr. President,
Yeah, go ahead, please, in the
So
back.
thank you. What guarantees did you give Hamas to persuade them that Israel will restart the bombing campaign once the hostages have been exchanged?
What did I do with respect to them? Well, I spoke a little bit tough, and that's what would happen. I mean, you have to speak tough. That's a tough world. That's a tough, as they say, neighborhood. And they're tough people. They're very tough people, and they're smart people. They're good negotiators. They have a lot of things going. They put that to good use. They're going to be very, very successful. But they knew the retribution would be tremendous, unsustainable. It would have been unsustainable. It would have been complete obliteration, and they didn't want that. And nobody wants it at this point. They want to get on with rebuilding the entire Middle East. It's not only Gaza. It's going to be the entire Middle East. They're going to be able to live in peace. Now, we have some little hot spots, but they're very small. You know the ones I'm talking about. They're very small. They'll be very easy to put out. Those fires are going to be put out very quickly. Yes, ma'am.
Russell Vogt said the reductions in force have begun related to this shutdown. How many layoffs have you authorized for this first round, and from which agencies?
And it will be Democrat-oriented because we figure, they started this thing, so they should be Democrat-oriented. It'll be a lot, and we'll announce the numbers over the next couple of days, but it'll be a lot of people, all because of the Democrats. I mean, they want to give $1.5 trillion to people that came into the country illegally. More important than that, because we all have a big heart. We want people to be taken care of, but we have 0 people coming in. You know that, Glenn, right? That's a pretty impressive number, even for a successful governor. But we've had for the last 4 months 0 people coming in illegally. They're coming in, but they're coming in legally. They're coming in through a process that's really a really good process right now, because we want people to come in, but they have to come in legally. So what we're doing is, as these different groups come due, we're going to make a determination. Do we want them a lot? And I must tell you, a lot of them happen to be Democrat-oriented. These are people that the Democrats wanted that in many cases were not appropriate. We fought them at the time, and it was ultimately signed in. And some of these people, these are largely people that the Democrats want. Many of them will be fired. Yes, please, behind.
The Nobel Peace Prize was announced this morning. Your thoughts?
Which one?
The Nobel Peace Prize. Your thoughts?
Look, including a very big one, and I'm not sure, when you say big, it's certainly, I think, to the mind of most, the most important deal ever made in terms of peace. But the one we just signed, it's been signed, sealed, and it's going to start taking place now. It's already started. Monday's going to be a very big day when the hostages come back. But I made 8 deals, transactions of wars. One was 31 years going on. 10 million people were killed. One was 34 years. One was 36, 37. One was 10. One was just starting. 2 were just starting, actually, but they were well on their way. In the case of India and Pakistan, 7 planes were shot down. It was a bad one. And I did it largely through trade. I mean, that one, numerous of them. I talked tariffs. I said, look, if you're going to do that, we're going to put very big tariffs on your country. And they were both great. They stopped fighting, and there were 2 nuclear powers. So, they're all big. They're every one of them big. You take a look at the Congo. You take a look at the Congo and Rwanda. 10 million people killed over a long period of time. Got that one solved. We did a total of 8 as of this. 2 days ago, I would have said 7, which I did say, but the other one was signed up, sealed. As you know, Israel signed it just now. They signed it and they approved it today, their parliament. And it's a great honor to be involved with so many. So the person who actually got the Nobel Prize called me and said, I'm accepting this in honor of you because you really deserved it. That a very nice thing to do. I didn't say then give it to me, though. I think she might have. She was very nice. And I've been helping her along the way. They need a lot of help in Venezuela. It's a basic disaster. So, and you could also say it was given out for 24, and I was running for office in 24. All of the transactions that we did in terms of closing. But there are those that say we did so much that they should have done it. But I'm happy because I saved millions of lives. Many millions of lives. And speaking of somebody that saves lives, don't ever play golf with him, because Keegan Bradley just walked in, one of the greatest golfers in the world, the captain of the Ryder Cup. And man, I'll tell you did a good job. You almost came back. I turned on. I said, I sort of turned off. It wasn't looking good. And then a little while later, I turned on. I said, you guys might make, that would have been the miracle. What a great job. He's respected by those golfers like nobody. And I just want to compliment you, Keegan. That was a incredible job. Right here, we have a lot of unfriendly fake news media, and he's not used to that. He's used to getting only good publicity, I think, Howard. These are all golfers, but you're some golfer, I'll tell you that, and some leader. Thank you very much. Great job. Thank you.
Mr. President, on China.
Yeah, please.
On immigration, ICE are making arrests, targeted arrests at courthouses in New York City and around the country.
Criminals, they're arresting criminals. That's right. Yeah, go ahead. I'm happy about it. I want them to arrest criminals. And if you take a look at D.C., a year ago, D.C. was our great capital, was a very unsafe place. You know that. Some of you were mugged, and talk openly about it. Some of the media was mugged. But right now, D.C. is one of the safest places in the whole country. The restaurants are booming. They're opening up new restaurants. The restaurants are all closing. Now you can't get into a restaurant. They're opening up new restaurants. It took 12 days for us. We sent in not politically correct military. We sent them in based on merit. We won the case in the Supreme Court. Everything now is based on merit. Our country was founded on things based on merit. Like Keegan Bradley's not going to be playing golf if he wasn't a great player. If he shoots lower scores, there's no more merit system than that one, Keegan, right? If you miss a putt,
yeah, the military is just like
okay,
golfing, based on merit. Trump's ridiculous. Trump's utterly ridiculous decisions to deploy the military on domestic soil is totally not meritless. Definitely good reasons for this. The frogmen in Portland. Also, you cheat in golf, so it's pretty funny that he's just like talking about the merit of the golf.
I can't even believe how much better it is. And it'll take probably a month over there, and we're heading to Chicago because we want to save Chicago. Do you know they had over 4,000 people killed in Chicago over a short...
Also, look at this incredibly merit-based approach that Trump has to his cabinet. Look at all the fucking dipshits behind him. Once again, a beacon of merit.
World, I don't believe that can claim, you hear so much about different, I won't, embarrass anybody, like by saying Mexico City or by saying anywhere in Afghanistan. There's no place like that. And then I have to listen to the mayor who's got a 5% approval rate, maybe less. He's an incompetent man. And the governor's an incompetent guy. He's a guy that was thrown out of his family business like a dog. And I know his family very well. And now he's a governor. And when I watch him trying to say that it's okay, we have crime under control, I lost 4,000 people over a very short period of time. I believe it's like 7,000 people were shot but didn't die. But 4,000 people died. And then he gets up and talks about how it's not a problem. Or Portland, Oregon. I mean, every time I look at that place, the place is burning down. There's fires all over the place. When a store owner, there are very few of them left, but when a store owner rebuilds a store, they build it out of plywood, and they don't put up storefronts anymore. They just put wood up because they know it's going to be ripped down. And then I hear how wonderful it is. It's not wonderful. It's a disaster. That's almost an insurrection, that place. So we put our people in there, and they do the job, and they've really done the job. And the beautiful thing is we've done it. 12 days we had this place safe, and now it's, I would say within a month, it was beautiful. And it continues to be. That was 3 months ago. I'll tell you, D.C. now is one of the hottest places, just like this country. We were a dead country, and you've heard me say it 100 times. We were a dead country. King of Saudi Arabia said it. others say. The Emir of Qatar said it. Many, UAE said it. The leader, great leader, UAE, all great leaders, they said effectively the same thing. 1 year ago, we had a dead country. Now we have the hottest country anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
I just want to thank everybody, and I want to, in particular, thank AstraZeneca. What a great company you have. What a company you've built. You've been there a long time and done some job. It's an honor to have you.
We like big pharma now? That's crazy. Don't say that in front of RFK's brainworm, dude. He's going to freak out.
I was going to say, could he make it a little bit more? Well, we have a couple of them where they're going to spend $65 billion on one plant, AI. All I know is it's, AI is based on information. I hope they're right about information. I don't know. You got to make a lot of money there's got to be a lot of information out there, but that seems to be pretty hot. But we
Has
have a
he
lot.
seen the report?
We're leading the world on
AI is
information.
based on information. I hope it's good. Otherwise, it's a lot of money.
And I want to thank everybody, but in particular, Pascal, thank you very much. It's a great honor. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. Have a good time.
Thank you, press. Thank you, press. Thank you, press. Let's go. Thank you. Thanks, guys. Thank you. Thank you, press.
Thank you, press. That's cool. That gives me a lot of confidence seeing the president basically cast some doubt on what our entire economy is geared around at this moment. AI, lots of money, but also, who knows? We're spending a lot of money. I hope it's good. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, dude. Fucking awesome. I'm freaking out a little bit. Many people are saying maybe not so good. Ay, ay, ay.